the heart of a small, forgotten town nestled between the mist-shrouded hills. There lay a diner known only as the Whispering Willow. Its faded sign creaked in the wind, beckoning travelers with promises of warm meals and respite from the cold night, yet within its shadowed booths and dimly lit corners, tales whispered of a peculiar patron who haunted its halls. A man whose appetite for the macabre surpassed all reason. It was a night like any other when Jake, a young delivery driver with a penchant for adventure, received an order for the Whispering Willow. The address led him deep into the heart of the town, where the streets twisted and turned like the tendrils of some malevolent. As he approached the diner, an eerie chill swept through the air, sending shivers down his spine. Entering the diner, Jake was greeted by the flickering glow of ancient lanterns and the scent of old wood and stale coffee. The few patrons huddled in their booths cast wary glances his way, their eyes reflecting a mixture of fear and curiosity. But it was the man seated in the far corner, shrouded in darkness, who captured Jake's attention. The stranger was clad in a tattered trench coat that hung loosely from his gaunt frame, his face obscured by the brim of a worn fedora. As Jake approached, the man's lips curled into a sinister smile, revealing yellow teeth that gleamed in the dim light. "Ah, you must be the delivery boy," the man rasped, his voice a low, gravelly whisper that sent a shiver down Jake's spine. "Come, sit. I have a task for you." Reluctantly, Jake took a seat opposite the stranger, his heart pounding in his chest. The man's eyes gleamed with an otherworldly hunger, and Jake found himself unable to look away. "I require a special delivery," the man continued, his voice dripping with malice. "A meal fit for a king, prepared with only the finest ingredients." With trembling hands, Jake accepted the parcel the man offered, the weight of it sending a chill down his spine. As he turned to leave, the man's voice echoed in his ears like a sinister incantation. "Remember, boy, deliver this meal swiftly, and you shall be handsomely rewarded. Fail me, and you shall suffer a fate worse than death." With a sense of dread gnawing at his insides, Jake made his way through the labyrinthine streets, the parcel clutched tightly in his grasp. The night seemed to stretch on forever, the darkness closing in around him like a suffocating blanket. A decrepit mansion shrouded in ivy and mystery. The air hung heavy with the stench of decay, and Jake's skin prickled with a sense of foreboding as he approached the imposing front door. With trembling fingers, he rang the doorbell, the sound echoing through the empty halls like a funeral dirge. Moments later, the door creaked open, revealing the same sinister figure from the diner. "You've done well, boy," the man crooned, his voice dripping with satisfaction. "Now come inside." Against his better judgment, Jake stepped over the threshold, his heart pounding in his chest. What awaited him within those shadowed halls, he could only imagine, but one thing was certain. He would never forget the night he delivered a meal to the devil himself.
Just the two of us. We can make it if we try. Just the two of us. Just the two.
In the sleepy town, New York, where the whispers of the past danced upon the wind and the shadows clung to the edges of reality, there resided a boy named Ethan. He was an ordinary lad with an extraordinary burden, tasked with delivering meals for his family's struggling restaurant to the farthest reaches of the town. One fateful night, as the moon cast its silvery glow upon the cobblestone streets, Ethan received an order unlike any other. The address led him to the outskirts of town, where a dilapidated mansion loomed like a specter against the night sky. Despite the unease prickling at the back of his neck, Ethan pressed on, determined to complete his delivery. As he approached the mansion's imposing gates, they swung open with an eerie creak, beckoning him forward into the unknown. The path before him was shrouded in darkness, the only illumination provided by the flickering glow of distant lanterns. With each step, Ethan's unease grew, his senses on high alert for any sign of danger. Yet when he reached the mansion's grand entrance, he was greeted not by a menacing figure, but by a kindly old man with a twinkle in his eye. "Oh, you must be Ethan," the man said, his voice warm and welcoming. "I've been expecting you. Please come in." Relieved, Ethan followed the man into the mansion's opulent foyer, where the scent of freshly baked bread mingled with the aroma of roasting meat. The man led him through a maze of corridors and winding staircases until they reached a cozy dining room bathed in the soft glow of candlelight. Seated at the head of the table was a lone figure, his features obscured by the shadows. As Ethan approached, the man rose to his feet, revealing a kindly face weathered by time. "Greetings, young man," he said, his voice gentle yet tinged with sorrow. "I am Mr. Harrington, and this is my home. Please join us for dinner." Ethan hesitated for a moment, his instincts screaming at him to flee. But something in Mr. Harrington's gaze spoke of loneliness and longing, and Ethan found himself unable to refuse. As the meal progressed, Ethan found himself drawn into conversation with his hosts, their tales of days gone by weaving a spell of nostalgia and warmth. Yet beneath the surface, he sensed a sadness that lingered like a shadow, a weight that no amount of laughter could dispel. It was only when the meal drew to a close that the truth was revealed. Mr. Harrington confessed to Ethan that he had been a recluse for many years, haunted by the ghosts of his past and the mistakes that had led him down a dark path. "But tonight," he said, his voice trembling with emotion, "you have reminded me of the joys of simple pleasures and the beauty of human connection. For that I am eternally grateful." With tears in his eyes, Mr. Harrington bid Ethan farewell, his heart lighter than it had been in years. And as Ethan made his way back through the winding corridors of the mansion, he knew that he had delivered more than just a meal that night. He had delivered hope, redemption, and the promise of a brighter tomorrow. As dawn broke over the horizon, casting its golden light upon the town of New York, Ethan returned home with a newfound sense of purpose. And though the memories of that fateful night would linger in his mind for years to come, he knew that he had faced his fears and emerged victorious, forever changed by the delivery of redemption.